Hello, hello, and welcome. My sound, I always forget that part. Haven't been on a live for a while. Still got to keep my hands down. Anyway, this is a topic that's come up in my group and actually has come up various times with different clients or parents in general and my own experiences. And the idea being that so many times we feel like we are not being listened to. No one is listening to us. And we're talking really about our children. Can't really help you if it's a husband or a colleague at work, although these things may be late. I'm looking at it from the parenting side. And one being, how are we listening? As you know, within conscious parenting, that we've got to start with us. And then we can work on where the imbalances are or what it is that could maybe change our situation. Okay, so let's start with, how are you talking, right? How are you talking to your children? And we're wanting them to listen, right? Are you using words like, oh, why didn't anybody empty the dishwasher? Someone should be emptying the dishwasher, right? Or are you shouting up the stairs, there's a mess down here, you need to come sort out this mess. So neither one is a direct. Both are coming from us complaining, we're loud, but there's no direction in this. Right? We're just like somebody, and up there, up in the sky up there, upstairs, come on down and tidy up your toys. Okay? So I have some examples here. I'm looking at my board, so I'm being efficient today. And the second one, in a how are we talking, is as you go to say something or make a demand or make a request, whatever you'd like to call it, what frustration level are you already at? Right? Are you starting? I know many time for myself. I'd come home and the kitchen was a big one for me always, and especially now with teenagers, and I come in and there's stuff everywhere and nobody wiped the surface or cleaned up, and I can just complain and moan to myself. But I'm already frustrated. So as I go to speak about this, to ask somebody something, to demand something of somebody even, I'm already on the frustration scale, I'd say a 5. So my tone, my energy of, hey, come here, I need you to take care of your stuff. Same with the toys, same with, I don't know, you thought everyone would be in bed and they're not, they're jumping on the couch and all excited, and you've come home and you're trying to deal with that and no one's listening to you, but you already started on a 5. You're in this story, no one listens, I do everything myself, everybody else messes up, right? We're already in that. That's where we started. So that's another second part to check, okay? Another one, which is a good one, is how reliable are we with our words in our talking? How honest, how truthful are we? Do you often or sometimes or occasionally use your words to kind of soothe the situation, but there's not really a truth there? We'll get it next time, or the store's sold out, or, today the ice cream truck is empty. So they seem like small things, but these are things that our children are listening to. This is how we're talking, the energy we are bringing to the situation. All right, so these are just pointers to think on. Maybe you're none of these. Okay, and so going back a little bit to the dishwasher and the toy situation, how clear are you when you're talking? Okay, so we're not working with this demand, but how clear are you? Because our own idea of tidying up, our own idea of something being a mess, our own idea of who needs to take action, responsibility for this, okay, is on ourselves, right? And so how clear are we? Is it, Susan? Did you make that many? But you can be about, here's the mess. I need this to happen to rectify this. situation. We weren't going to have our living room nice and clear, and you and me are going to tidy up. Okay? The other one being eye contact. Okay, if we are shouting from a distance, if we're from a different place, if we're calling down or calling up, or we run in the room and go, this is a mess, tidy this up, no one's listening because they didn't necessarily even hear us. Okay, if we get louder and louder, we get tuned out, so they're still not necessarily listening. We're just doing the talking. We're using tons of words to explain why we need this done, how we need this done. This needs to be done daily, whatever it is. But at that moment, it's just you talking. No one's listening. Right? We know when somebody's telling us something that you maybe hear the first few bits and then you've already tuned out if it's of no interest for you, or if it's because they want you to do something, right? Which our kids get a lot of, right? Whenever we come up to them, we're usually saying, can you, or you need to, or it's time for, we're changing wherever they're at, the fun of where they're at. So coming right in and having that eye contact is going to make a difference. And then you're speaking, you're noticing your child's energy. You're speaking to that. You can tell if they're tired, if they're hungry, if they're, had a bit of a rough day, aren't in a good position, and adjust your tone and your demands based on that. Another thing too would be, in your talking, how have you taken into account those things, those emotions they're in, but also their age, and what are your expectations meeting where the child is, as opposed to the child trying to meet your expectations. That'll also help with how we approach the subject, the words we use, keeping it concise, keeping it clear. Okay? So that's those ones on how we're talking, right? Because we want people to listen to us, so that's what we could be bringing to the table. That's what we're bringing to the situation. Some of these, all of these, depending on what we're about. And so we want to check that. And then the idea of how are you listening? How are you listening to your child, and how are you connecting with your child? And if they feel to the child that every time you are coming up to them, there's a demand, there's a want, there's a chance that, playtime's over, TV's over, that game's over, we're moving on, are they going to tune into what you have to say when it's always about changing where they're at? Okay. And the other one being when our child talks to us, or when our child is saying no to us, or a child has demands of what they would like from us, how great are we at listening? How great are we being present, hearing what's being said, checking out the situation of where we're all at? Okay. So these are some great things to just, I'm only actually pointing out some questions here to sort of question yourself and the analysis of becoming conscious. And many times, we skip all those steps and we just start shouting, myself included. And so we want to have it to the point that we can really have this relationship with our child, that they are part of our world and that we're part of their world, and that the listening skills we're both going to work on, we're both going to work with. Okay, so a couple of broad points I'm going to finish up here would be for if you're coming in frustrated, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like you're doing more shouting than talking and connecting. Check in with your self-care, check in how full your cup is, check in whether you've had some time for yourself, so that when you come to the situation, you're in a bit more of a peaceful, calm space. Maybe you went for a run or a walk or sat outside for a minute having a cup of tea. And then the other one is connecting. How much connection have you had with your child recently? And I mean real connecting, right? Real time together, chatting, getting into their world of whatever they're playing with or whatever they're doing, or, sometimes the car's good for that, sometimes just, lying on the floor next to them as they play. The two main points. My video has paused. Is it paused or is it still going? Oh, I think we're still going. Just gave me notification it paused. That's okay, Facebook. I'm nearly finished. So those were 3 things, and definitely depending on the child, and this worked very differently for both of mine, is in order for someone to listen, we want them to listen, but we also are assuming we want a response, we want something to happen. We need to realize that they're not sitting there waiting just to listen to us, right? Their heads are somewhere else, their thoughts are somewhere else, their mind is somewhere else, especially if they're on TV or on a computer game or whatever. And so eye contact and getting up close in a very beautiful way, you can be silly with it, funny with it, doesn't have to be so serious, and sort of talk about, you've got 5 more minutes because we're going to start dinner, or I need your help with dinner. And then have them repeat that back to you. And when your child talks to you, try to repeat back to them too what they're saying. It feels a bit odd at the beginning, but it's that wonderful way so they know they've heard, and they're developing that listening skill for when you would like something from them. Okay. So my name's Anya again, Parenting Success Coach. You can find me. I'd love to work with you. We can chat about that, on how you'd like to incorporate some of these things and other areas in your family that are causing strife, causing a bit of issues for you. There's lots that we can work with to help soothe things and make your family and yourself as a parent the one you would like to be. So thank you. Bye-bye.